and very possibly losing your appeal. Ownwell does it all for you. But hurry, time is running out to protest. Ownwell has reduced property taxes for hundreds of thousands of Texans and put money back in their pocket, and you can be one of them. And unlike other companies that take half of whatever you save, Ownwell charges just 25%, and that's only if you save.
Now I don't worry about my property taxes. Ownwell reduces it every year.
Sign up now, free. Don't pay unless you save. But hurry, time is running out to protest. Text WIN to 64,000. Text WIN to 64,000. Text WIN to 64,000.
There's a lot of advantages to leasing a car from Apple Leasing. You can call them at 346-9977. Here's some of the highlights. Lower monthly payments. Typically, when you lease a car, the payment is a lot less than if you were to finance that exact same car. Also, not much of a down payment, if any down payment, when you lease from Apple Leasing. Also, you can drive the latest and greatest cars with up-to-date technology, safety features, all that kind of stuff by leasing a brand new car that's under warranty from Apple Leasing. Again, the number is 346-9977. That's 346-9977. Trade in the car that you're driving right now and get into a brand new under warranty car from Apple Leasing. They'll get you any make, they'll get you any model, and you can do it with one phone call. So trade in the car you're driving now and get a new one from Apple Leasing, 346-9977. Or check out their website. It's appleleasing.com.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KVET AM Austin. Your home for the Horde. Make us the #1 preset in your car and on the free new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
The morning kickoff. The morning kickoff.
It's the morning kickoff with Mike Hardball Hardge and the world's strongest man, WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry, on your home for the Hordes, 1300 The Zone.
Good morning, Austin, K-Town, Pflugerville, H-Town, Pearland,
Leander, and Silsbee, Texas,
or wherever you may be listening. This is a Turn Up Tuesday edition of the Morning Kickoff right here on Sports Radio AM 1300. The Zone. Sark met with the media down in H-Town, and he had a lot to talk about. The Miami Heat no longer are going to Galveston. They are going to the Titanic because it is sinking fast. Joe Cook of Inside Texas joins us to talk all things Texas Longhorns. And, of course, we're going to continue with this Bill Belichick conversation because it is really intriguing to me. I don't even know why. But I am your host, Mike Hardball Hardge. My co-host is a WWE Hall of Famer and the world's strongest man. He is the Mark Henry.
Good morning, Austin.
And, of course, we've got our guy Marcus behind the boards. And if you want to be a part of the show, all you got to do is text the word Texas, followed by our message to 81530. Standard data and message rates may apply. That's the word Texas, followed by your message to 81530. Standard data and message rates may apply. Also, if you would love to win a pair of tickets to go see Alice Cooper and Judas Priest, all you got to do is use that talkback feature on the new and improved iHeartRadio app. I will give you a keyword for today, and all you got to do is leave it on there for a chance to win a pair of tickets, and I'll give you all the information a little bit later. Mark, I want to get into this because Coach Sark got an opportunity to go down to H-Town. And you got to talk about a bunch of different things because now we're in the offseason of football. Finally, we're in the offseason. Yes, Of course, we've had them play the games, and then they ended the season losing to Ohio State. But then they got right into spring practices, and now they're getting ready for summer practices. But now this is it. No more. They can't talk to them. They can't be around them. Well, they can be around them, but they can't do any physical activity with these players. Their body need time to rest. So now Coach Sark is on the circuit. He's making his rounds, and it started in H-Town at the Touchdown Club. But before he got a chance to talk to all the people, the guests that were there, he had a media availability, and a lot of folks were there. So here's his opening statement.
23 players in the last 2 drafts, most of any team in the country. That's now 6 first-round picks in 3 years, which is a really cool deal. And to think, when we got here, I think there was 32 active NFL players from UT in the NFL, and we've had 28 guys drafted now in the last 3 drafts. So we're excited, we're pumped, we're proud of that we're developing our players and getting them an opportunity to go do that. Obviously wrapped up spring ball Saturday, had a great day, fan appreciation day. I thought was a hit. It was a lot of fun with our fans and taking pictures and signing autographs and the fire sale and all the things that went with that. And then obviously I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about what Slosh is doing with the baseball program. That was an awesome series sweep that they had this weekend. They continue to roll on, and I think that just speaks to where Texas athletics is right now too. Ton of credit to CDC, but I think of our 21 sports right now, 9 of them this year have been ranked number 1 in the country, which is pretty incredible when you look at it on that front. So a lot of really cool things happening. Obviously, the month of May for us is a unique month with all of our coaches hitting the road recruiting today. Me getting an opportunity to do things like this, the players wrapping up school and finals, and then having a little time off before we come back in June. So it's kind of the seasons, right? We kind of go with the seasons. So we're in the transitional phase right now.
I mean, it's a wild time. It's a busy time, and this is the time of year for us too as parents. We're realizing that our kids' school years are winding down as well. So now it's that go time. What do we got? Summer camps. You got all the recruiting that's going on. I got a chance my neighborhood is filled with a lot of high school kids, right? Like they all are over at the house a lot. So I get a chance to talk to them. But it's interesting to me because you most recently have gone through this because of Jacob. Right. Jacob is at Oklahoma. He's going to get a chance to play some football, so that's really cool. But now these kids that have grown up with my son DJ are now all experiencing this stuff. They're experiencing the college coaches walking around campus and checking in,
coming to the
house and being invited to all of these camps. So the activity of the offseason has begun, not only for the high school coaches, but the college coaches, because now this is the time for them to go to see people.
Yeah, and this is also the time of the year where you find out who your leaders are.
Yeah.
Because the leaders are going to be the ones that's, going to be organizing team activities, social as well as training-wise. Hey, guys, 3 days a week we need to be at the gym doing this.
Yep.
2 days a week we need to do, extreme conditioning. And every day of the week you need to stretch and do recovery.
Right.
If you get hurt, say something.
Yeah, this is the Torrey Becton time of year right now. This is where he start to get up too.
And even him, he's going to be limited.
Yep.
To some of the access that he's going to have with the team.
Right.
So like that's a good thing.
Well, one of the things too that we just mentioned is the staff on the road, and Sark mentioned that and talked about what recruiting and how it's picking up.
Yeah, I think from an assistant coach's perspective, where it's adjusted some, and it's a real balancing act. A lot of what you used to do back in the day, it was you'd spring recruit to invite the seniors to get to camp, to get them to camp, and then get them to come to a game in the fall, and then get them to take an official visit, in the wintertime, December, January. That is all sped all the way up, right? When signing day is now in early December. Now, so many of the players have been on our campus last year to come to a game. They've been on our campus, this spring, right, to come to practice to some degree. And now the assistant coaches are going out in spring really to home visit the kids now, which is incredible to think. Like, as a head coach, I don't do home visits anymore, which that used to be, I always felt as a head coach, might have been the most important aspect of your job was getting into the home of a recruit, especially one that was still in the decision-making process. Now the assistant coaches are doing that, and now they're on the road spring recruiting for your 27s to come to camp, right? So the whole thing is kind of sped up that way. So my perspective is it has adjusted some, obviously, and for the assistant coaches, it's adjusted some. And, again, being adaptable, I think, is the key right now, and being really well organized and where our coaches are going and what we're trying to do. And, I can tell you our guys are hammering the state of Texas this week. We don't go out as early as maybe some other schools because our spring ball goes a little later. So we have to be really efficient here over the next month to make sure that we're getting the right stuff done.
Right there.
Yeah.
Did Coach Sark say that he can't or he doesn't?
He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to because there's so much that is going on and they spend so much time here on the campus. The players are always on campus now.
I tell you what, man, give me another Colin Simmons. I might go to his house regardless.
Well, I'm sure it is
It's on a choice basis.
It's a need to close it out. Yeah, it's on a closeout basis, right? If there's a guy that's on the fence, I'm sure Coach will make that trip to the crib.
You jump in the helicopter.
Exactly. We've seen that happen too. We'll see it during football season because that's the ability that they have now. But also one of the biggest questions that was coming out of the conversation was, what are you going to be doing to replace the D-line? We heard from Eric Henry of Horns 24/7 today. We'll hear from Joe Cook of Inside Texas talking about some of these things. But here's what he had to say about replacing the defensive line.
I think a couple things on that. One, I've been banging this drum, since we arrived. And I think a lot of the times the offensive line got the attention of this, but you win games at the line of scrimmage. You win championships at the line of scrimmage. And when I always used to talk about big humans, again, the offensive line got a lot of that attention because we felt like that was the immediate need to ramp up that recruiting. But really on the defensive side of the ball, we were fortunate when we got here that room had some really good players in it. All 6 of those guys that have gotten drafted in the last 3 years, we inherited. Murph was the only guy that was in that one class. And then Baron Sorrell, obviously in this year's class, they were in that class right when I got here in January. They signed in December. The rest of those guys were on the roster, and so we inherited those guys. And, I think we did a pretty good job of continuing their development to get them to that stage. And so we like I said, we've been fortunate to have a very good defensive front. I think that allowed us to grow in the secondary. That allowed us to recruit some really high-level athletic players on the edge and at the linebacker position to help with that. But like anything, when you look at us when it comes to the portal, like we're trying to fill needs. And for a variety of reasons, we've had some real attrition at the defensive line spot. Like I said, for a variety of reasons, certain players aren't here anymore. And you have to get your numbers right. When you think about where my mind is at, I'm thinking about 16, 17 games again. And having the right amount of depth on the defensive front is critical for us to play the style of football that we want to play. And I thought we've done a really nice job of addressing needs on the defensive front, not only in the winter transfer portal, but obviously here in the spring to go along with some of our young players as they continue to develop. I think it's going to be a nice combination of players that is going to allow the rest of that defense to play the style of defense that we want to play.
Coach Sark mentioned fortune. I put fortune up there with luck. I believe that none of that's possible without work and without, having an opportunity to go and show you how hard you work. So
yeah, they've been doing a lot of it and they've been getting it done. We're just getting started right here on the morning kickoff. Coming up next, what in the world is going on in Miami? And is Draymond just one of the worst people on earth? We'll talk about it right here on the morning kickoff on Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone.
Segway Show, weekdays at 2.
Don't miss the iHeart Country Festival 2025, returning to the Moody Center Saturday, May 3rd. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
Northbound 35 between 45 and Stastny Lane. There's stop-and-go traffic, and it's going to slow you down about 15 minutes if that's on your route. And then there's an accident reported on Metric Boulevard at Howard Lane. This is causing a slowdown from Palmer. Avoid the area if you're able to. I'm Junior Caruso with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code radio for an extra 5% off.
Whether you suffer a motor vehicle accident, slip and fall, or any other unforeseen mishap, recovering from a serious injury, loss of income, or personal property is inevitably your number one goal. At DJC Law, your recovery is always their number one goal. The real people who help real people fight for the rights and compensation they deserve. Navigating the legal aftermath from an accident can be overwhelming, and DJC Law has over 25 years of experience negotiating with insurance companies to maximize the value of the claim and protect the victim's rights. Call DJC Law at 512-888-9999 for a free no-risk consultation. They can meet you in their office, at your home, or in the hospital, and you pay nothing unless they win. Call 512-888-9999. If you're injured in an accident, don't settle. Call 512-888-9999 and get your justice. TeamJustice.com. DJC Law, principal office in Austin, Texas. If you've been putting off that trip to the dentist, even if you know you really should get a checkup or get something fixed, let me ease your mind a little bit by recommending Dr. Greg Eckert. Dr. Eckert has been serving the Austin area for 30 years now, and I'm happy to say he's been my dentist for more than a decade. Greg Eckert and his staff will show you what your situation is, and they'll tell you what they can do to help so that you can make the informed decision about your dental health care needs. Give Dr. Eckert a call today at 512-345-3166. They're open on Fridays if that works for you. 512-345-3166.
If you're in the market for a wood fence for your home or business, Viking Fence is the right choice for you. Viking Fence has been in business for over 50 years and takes pride in being the most reliable fence company in Central Texas. Viking Fence does gorgeous work, from simple privacy fences to custom projects. Their quality is unmatched. Viking is the only fence company with their own facility where they custom cut red cedar, the most durable and attractive of fence materials, and offer 3 grades of fence pickets, one for every budget. Compare their lumber against the big box stores. And there is no comparison on quality and price. So whether Viking installs your fence or you're doing it yourself, Viking Fence will ensure your satisfaction. Excellent work, great service, and an honest reputation. Call Viking Fence today at 837-6411 for a free estimate or visit their wood fence galleries at vikingfence.com. When you think fence, think Viking.
Hey Austin, this is Cameron Parker with big news. 2024 savings are reigning. Customers who switch from Geico, Allstate, and State Farm to Fred Loya Insurance saved an average of $2,300 a year. That's right, customers in Texas saved an average of $2,300 a year when they switch to Fred Loya Insurance. That's almost $200 a month. Wow. Don't wait. Make 2025 a great year by calling Fred Loya Insurance. Call today, 1-800-444-4040. That's 1-800-444-4040. Or visit fredloya.com. If you don't call, you don't save. Individual savings may vary.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one. No problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Tariffs and your
last night's game between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Miami Heat was something that, let's just say, we talked about OKC when they won by 51. This was one of those games, Mark. This was one of those games that you sit and you look at the NBA level. That's the problem. It's the NBA level that teams get destroyed like this. The final last night between the Cavaliers and the Miami Heat was 138-53. You heard me correct. 83, excuse me. My number.
Might as well be 53.
My number. When you literally sit there and you're watching an NBA game, you are putting yourself in a position of malcontent. You are putting yourself in a position to where you lose a game by 55 points in the NBA. And the one thing that comes to mind to you is what, Mark? They quit.
That's what you would think. That's what you would think, that they quit. But they were still trying to play. I think that a lot of it was ineptitude. And Cleveland, the byproduct of Cleveland being on, Cleveland was throwing up stuff. If the clock got down to 2 seconds and they were at half court, they just chunked it. It still would go in. They had the clock go down twice, and that happened. They were playing inspired. Miami, not so much.
They were having practice, basically, is what they were doing. They were
had
practicing.
practice.
And I'm looking at the plus minus. Not one player on the Cleveland Cavaliers had a minus near their name in the plus minus. Not one. Their leading scorer was Donovan Mitchell, as he always normally is, but Ty Jerome off the bench. They played everybody. The only person that did not play last night
was the guy handing out the towels.
Was Darius Garland, and that's because he had a toe problem, but he's a starter. If you suited out last night, besides Darius Garland, you played. They had the usher come down and get in the layup line during warm-ups. You get a shot. You get a shot. You get a shot. It just does not make sense. And the TNT crew just does not believe what they saw. And you know Charles Barkley has something to say.
This might be the worst game I've ever watched.
Ernie, I try not to ever use the word quit or choke. Because you can see, and I'm not very seldom using. This is quitting at its finest right here. This I bet if we went to their house, all their stuff is already packed.
Well, no, it's not packed. They live in Miami.
No, you got to listen.
They live in Miami.
Dude, you lost by 38 the last game. You can't stay in Miami. You lost by 38 and you're down 40 at halftime.
You actually lost by 37.
Okay, my bad.
Game 3.
If you lose by 37, then come back and lose by 40, you can't stay in town. You know better.
It's just unbelievable to me.
He's right.
It's unbelievable to me that this could happen at this level. You are professionals. You are getting paid a lot of money to be out there to compete. Now, they're down 3-0. It was pretty much go ahead and go. Then you had Tyler Hero talking about, we miss Jimmy. I think Jimmy was the difference. We know that. Everybody knew that. But you still became this person. And I know that you're going to have, during your world's strongest take, you're going to have a very strong opinion.
I'm over here
this.
tight-lipped because I'm trying not to say.
That's why I'm going to change it up.
What I'm going to say, and you got to come back at the end of the show. The world's strongest take is about this and the culture and a lot of it involved. So, come on, man. Like we might need to change the subject before I just go off. And
yeah, it's definitely something that as you look and watch these games, you want to see the intensity. As we've said, we knew that Memphis was not going to be able to play with OKC. We knew that. But when they lost Ja Morant, it was pretty much over.
Right, you knew then.
You knew then it was done. And what's his name? Jaren Jackson, he didn't show up at all. He was being called out by everybody. You called him out. So we understand those particular moments. But you cannot not play the game. It's your last game of the year. Play hard. That was embarrassing. We could not even watch the game. We decided we were going to do something else because it was that bad. I was like, I'll wait until the Houston Golden State game because I couldn't watch it anymore. It was just awful. And speaking of Houston and Golden State, this was an epic matchup again. And it's safe to say that neither of these teams like each other. It is a bad look because they continue to fight every possession. Draymond Green is a terrible, terrible human being. I'm done with he's just intense. No, that's just bad. Like, you have become the poster child of what not to do in games.
You want to pick out what you're tired of, and I'll tell you what I'm tired of.
No, you can do it, man.
Because I'm going to tell you, more than him being a horrible person, like, he's becoming a bad teammate. Because I watched Steph Curry's face. Steph Curry is that they won 3 championships together.
Yeah.
And even Steph rolled his eyes and dropped his head when he saw what happened.
Yeah.
Dirty pool, mister. Dirty pool.
Dirty pool.
Yeah, it's become one of the guys that every time you see Draymond, he's definitely punchable.
Like not only is his face punchable, but his body, his demeanor, like everything about him says punch me.
Right.
And if I'm a teammate, say I'm on the Golden State Warriors. I'm loony. I'm somebody that plays 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops.
Yep.
A game. Coach, put me in. Y'all don't need me next week, do you? Because I'm going to punch him right in the face when he fouls my guy. When he dives on top of my teammate and drops his legs on his face and drives his face into the court.
Right.
I'm coming off the bench. See, that's what's not happening. He'll stop doing it.
Right.
If somebody just says, I'm done. Now, you don't want to come off the bench and not be actually in the game, because then the league is going to really come down on you.
Right.
Hey, coach, he looked tired. I need to go in. Bam needs to sit down for a minute. And put him in the game.
Yeah.
Hockey do it.
Oh, yeah, they got their goons ready to go.
Hockey's got the goons.
Warriors win the game 109-106, but the story continues to be Draymond Green being a dirty player. And on the other side, Dillon Brooks is that guy, too, for the Houston Rockets. We're not just piling on Draymond. Dillon Brooks needs some of this smoke.
They both made the all-crazy team.
Exactly. And David West is the captain when he was in the league. Coming up next, we got Joe Cook of Inside Texas. We'll ask him what he thinks about this series. And, oh, yeah, Sark met with the media yesterday, and we'll get his take as well. Right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone.
Don't miss the iHeart Country Festival 2025, returning to the Moody Center Saturday, May 3rd. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
Southbound 35 at 51st Street, there's a disabled vehicle that's been moved off the main lanes. The shoulder is blocked and traffic's moving a little slow from 290, but not a major delay there. And then there's an accident reported on Metric Boulevard at Howard Lane. Traffic's moving slow from Palmer, about a 2 to 3 minute delay there. I'm Junior Caruso with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's knows that with job site delivery, you can get what you need without losing valuable time. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes for same-day delivery, subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Hardball Hardge.
And this is the world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
And we're here to talk to you about MyPlates.com.
Tell them about it, Mike.
Mark, when you're on the road and looking at the vehicles, what's the first thing you see?
Well, I'm usually a nice car, but the plates, baby.
At MyPlates.com, you can create a plate that shows exactly who you are.
Like the one I'm thinking about, the world's strongest man. Had to let them know.
Come on, you can get colors, styles, slogans. MyPlates lets you flex your Texas pride your way.
Big truck, big attitude, and it's better to have a plate to match.
Hit up MyPlates.com today and put in the promo code THEZONE. That's The Zone, all one word, for up to $55 in savings. And make your ride look as good as you do.
Or even better, MyPlace.com.
That's the way to go. And tell them Hardball Hardge
and Mark Henry
sent you.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers. T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers, plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us, plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
And Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
The CDC recommends pneumococcal vaccination for all adults 50 years or older. Sandy Markwood, Chief Executive Officer of U.S. Aging, explains.
Pneumococcal vaccines are the best way to protect against serious pneumococcal infections like pneumonia, and vaccination for adults is recommended based on your age or if you have certain medical conditions. Adults 50 years or older are at increased risk for pneumococcal disease and should talk to a healthcare provider about getting a pneumococcal vaccine.
As people age, their immune response declines, leaving them more vulnerable to infections like pneumococcal pneumonia.
Vaccines to help prevent pneumococcal disease are recommended for all adults aged 50 and older, and you can get a pneumococcal vaccine at any time of the year. There is no out-of-pocket expense to you for a pneumococcal vaccine, whether you have private insurance, Medicaid, or Medicare.
To learn more about vaccines to protect against pneumococcal disease, visit yougotthis.usaging.org.
The Knicks take a 3-1 lead, beating the Pistons 94-93 today. 2 Game 4 matchups are tonight. The Celtics at the Magic, the Bucks hosting the Pacers. The NHL playoffs continue as the Canadiens take on the Capitals. Kings facing the Oilers tonight. And Longhorns quarterback Quinn Ewers was selected by the Dolphins in the 7th round of the NFL draft on Saturday, rounding out a program best 12 players drafted in this year's draft for Texas. I'm Darrell Joyner.
Hey, this is Lincoln Kennedy. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Mercedes-Benz.
That feeling of owning your first Mercedes-Benz is hard to believe, but it's real. From the leather stitching to the iconic design, every element of a Mercedes lives up to its reputation. See for yourself at your local dealer. Offers are waiting.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, your home for the Horns.
It's Tuesday here on the morning kickoff on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. So that can only mean one thing at this time, and that is we are being joined by our guy, Joe Cook of Inside Texas. You can follow him at Joseph Cook 89. And Joe, no spring game, but there were still spring activities. What were you and your sources hearing about the final practice? Not what happened on that day, but the final practice of the Texas Longhorns as they get ready to head into the offseason.
Yeah, this is one of those things where it kind of felt like almost things were run of the mill for those first 14 practices. We got some scrimmages and, we heard the good guys were doing good. Some new faces would kind of rotate, but it was a lot of fun to hear that this was in a really intense end to the spring, that they really, put a lot of effort into making sure that they spent the tank on this one before they give them some time off and wait till the end of May and the start of June comes around to hit summer workouts. But there were some good reports about Arch Manning finding Ryan Wingo. Wingo had been a little bit limited for a lot of the spring just to, make sure he's ready to go for the fall after a little hamstring tweak. But he and Arch Manning connected on a couple different times. There was also some good running from Trey Wisner. And Trey Wisner, I think, he played heroically last year. I think he's going to have the body this year to even, live up to those heroics and make it a little bit easier. He's a little bit closer to 200 pounds, if not over it. And while he's never going to be a big bruiser, he's going to run like one. And being 200 pounds instead of like the 190 he was last year is probably going to help him a lot. So a lot of good, good reports from the physicality of the scrimmage. And you always like to hear that Wingo and Arch are connecting on some big plays too.
Joe, they said that there's been some attrition in the tight end room and defensive line room. Like, how did those two groups look in the last 2 or 3 practices?
Yeah, I think with defensive tackle, some of those guys you're waiting to see what you get when they finally arrive on campus. But I think when, the way Steve Sarkisian and Kenny Baker and Pete Kwiatkowski rotate at defensive tackle, I think those transfers are going to play. I think Cole Brevard and Travis Shaw may already be in your top 4. I think Maron Watson is going to be up there. So there's 3 of the 5. And then I don't think you mind if Hero Canoe and Lavon Johnson, maybe your rotational guys, maybe kind of fit that 10 snap a game role. That you still see some defensive tackles get. So I think pretty much all 5 of those defensive tackles are going to see a good amount of snaps or at least be contributors at tight end. Jordan Washington getting dinged up was one of the big, I guess, I don't want to say, what's the right way of putting it? One of the poor events that came out of camp.
Right.
It's not
one of the
detrimental. It was either a
setbacks.
shoulder. Yeah, it was either a shoulder or collarbone, and those heal up. But you would have liked for him to get those reps. You would have liked for him to get those opportunities. And that still wasn't going to prevent Texas from going and getting Jack Endries in the portal. So I think with Endries being the number 1 and Washington the number 2, you've got a good tight end room. But they did like what they got from Amari Winston, a true freshman from Georgia. And, even he's doing true freshman things, but he's also doing some things a little bit advanced for a true freshman. So good returns there from that trio.
We're talking to Joe Cook of Inside Texas. You can follow him at Joseph Cook 89 on social. And Joe, one of the biggest stories for us has always been about the red zone offense. What are some of the things? Neil Brown's name was mentioned. Obviously, Chad Scott being here. Those two work together at West Virginia. What are some of the things that you believe that Texas needs to do to be a little bit better in the red zone?
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to, obviously getting a little bit better drive from the offensive line for as good as this O-line was last year. Just firing out of blocks, going forward, clearing paths wasn't their strongest suit. But I also think it's going to take some Arch Manning running. I think Steve Sarkisian knows that that's a weapon he's going to have to use in certain spots. It's not something he loves to use, but hey, 6 points is 6 points, especially when last year he had struggles in the red zone. So they'll be smart about it. You're never going to see Arch maybe get like 10 carries a game unless it's one of the biggest games of the year. Excuse me, but you'll definitely see him take advantage of the opportunity. I mean, and that's not just, like quarterback draws or read options. They used Arch on QB sneaks a handful of times last year, and I don't really think they like doing that with Quinn at all, especially after the Michigan game. So running the quarterback isn't always going to be, option and, draw and stuff like that. Sometimes it's just lining up and sneaking and getting the big boy pushed across the line of scrimmage.
Joe, like the tush push is out in the NFL. Did they specify is that out in football period, or will that be something that you can deploy in college football?
I don't know if it's out in the NFL quite yet. I think teams want it out, but it takes maybe like 2/3 or something like that to get a rule like that changed. The only rule I know about in college is that you can push a guy all you want. You're not allowed to pull him over. That was a call that they missed in the Peach Bowl versus Arizona State because they had an offensive lineman, like this. They basically gave Cam Scatabo a German suplex across the goal line.
Yeah.
So you can't pull, but you can push. And I think while if that's the route Texas wants to go, they'll be within the rules to do that. But at some points they like doing some variations off quarterback sneak. It's kind of interesting. They've snapped behind through the quarterback's legs before. They've lined up a tight end to come under center out of motion. So if they wanted to push them, they definitely can. But the college rules say you can't pull them across the line.
Okay,
I'm gonna let you go with this, Joe. What is something that you're hopeful will happen during the off season, and who will be your biggest surprise during this time?
I'm hopeful. It's really tough to do this because it's a trenches position.
Yep.
But I hope they figure out right tackle. And not to say that it's a problem area, but I think it's just one of those things where you got a competition with Andre Kojo, Brandon Baker, and I don't know how much his arrest affects it, but Nick Brooks was making a lot of progress over the course of spring. I'd like to figure out right tackle, because I feel like everywhere else is kind of figured out. What you have in Gooseby, it seems like left guard is going to end up belonging to Neto Umeozulu. Hudson's there, DJ Campbell's there. Once you figure out what right tackle is, then you can kind of start to build some cohesion, which we all know is important. Oh man, big riser. Who am I thinking might end up? I'm hopeful that Cole Brevard can continue to, I think he's going to be a guy who's going to be first string defensive tackle. I think if he can figure out what it's like to play in Texas instead of playing in Indiana or playing in Pennsylvania during the summer, it's going to bode well for him, and it'll help Texas early, especially when they go to play Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State is that first game, and we're getting closer and closer to it, and it's making a lot of people nervous. So we shall see what is happening. As always, my man, I appreciate you hopping on with us, and we'll talk again soon.
Gentlemen, thank you.
There he is, Joe Cook of Inside Texas. Coming up next, I got this question from Mark Henry. It's an internet sensation, and I want to get my man's opinion on this because I have my own. We'll talk about it right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
It's the Craig Way Show.
If Jerry Jones does care as much about his fans as he says, try to make some moves that might at least appeal to them a little more than a lot of the moves you made. In other words, like a real personnel person, a real general manager. Make Will McClay the real general manager.
Voice of the Texas Longhorns and Hall of Fame broadcaster. Weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. on AM 1300 The Zone.
Bonus bucks. Bonus bucks. Once you win $1,000 in bonus bucks, you'll have more money to use on your fantasy leagues. Bonus bucks. The winning happens every weekday, right here
on 1300 The Zone.
Don't miss the iHeart Country Festival 2025, returning to the Moody Center Saturday, May 3rd. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
Southbound 35 at 51st Street, there's a disabled vehicle that's been moved off the main lanes. The shoulder is blocked and traffic's moving a little slow from 290, but not a major delay there. And then there's an accident reported on Metric Boulevard at Howard Lane. Traffic's moving slow from Palmer, about a 2 to 3 minute delay there. I'm Junior Caruso with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Randall's. In a rush and don't have time to shop for groceries? Let Randall's do the shopping for you. Now at Randall's, get $30 off your first online order. With free pickup or delivery, you will always get the same great prices, deals, and rewards as in-store. Shop Randalls.com or in the app.
Running a fleet is expensive. So what happens when you cut the fuel bill by 10% with a Coast Fleet Card?
We're saving money and time, which means we're able to take better care of all of our vehicles and our techs, plus our bottom line. Coast has been a real game changer for us.
With Coast, you get smarter spending, stronger security, and real support when you need it. Set spending limits, track purchases in real time, and stop unauthorized transactions before they happen. Coast works anywhere Visa is accepted, so you're not limited to overpriced or out-of-the-way gas stations.
The customer service is way above the company that we used before. Along with the extra security, it's worth saying again, total game changer for us.
Go to coastpay.com/sports and learn how to save an average of 10% on your fuel bill with Coast. That's coastpay.com/sports to save 10% on fuel with Coast. coastpay.com/SPORTS.
Coast card products are issued by Celtic Bank. All card accounts are subject to credit approval. Actual savings may vary. See terms at coastpay.com. The spokesperson and characters in this ad are actor portrayals.
Oh, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Oh, wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
At Napa, we've spent the last 100 years building our business into an engine that powers yours. Whether you're big or small, national or local, Napa has the automotive solutions your business needs to stay moving. And it's all driven by a nationwide network of quality parts and exceptional service on one mission: to keep your business moving full speed ahead. That's why we are the pros that know.
Leo Schofield spent decades in prison for a crime Jeremy Scott later confessed to. Season 2 of the hit podcast Bone Valley investigates how Jeremy's violent past unfolded and who else may have suffered his wrath.
This is a case that should never happen. I told him you got the wrong man.
Listen to Bone Valley on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Bone Valley.
Hey, Austin, this is Cameron Parker with big news. 2024 savings are ending. Customers who switch from Geico, Allstate, and State Farm to Fred Loya Insurance saved an average of $2,300 a year. That's right. Customers in Texas saved an average of $2,300 a year when they switch to Fred Loya Insurance. That's almost $200 a month. Wow. Don't wait. Make 2025 a great year by calling Fred Loya Insurance. Call today, 1-800-444-4040. That's 1-800-444-4040. Or visit FredLoya.com. If you don't call, you don't save. Individual savings may vary.
All about the presets.
That is the best new feature. It's like a car radio right on the app. There's a list of what's trending. There's all the podcasts. I love it.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio. Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KVET AM Austin. Your home for the Horn. Make us the #1 preset in your car and on the free new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
Oh, hey, you. It's Nicole Lapin, New York Times bestselling author, the only financial expert you don't need a dictionary to understand, and now the host of the new iHeartRadio daily podcast, Money Rehab. So here's the deal. I'm going to rehab your wallet so that you can get your financial life together once and for all. Because we all have money problems, and the biggest mistake you can make is not admitting you have a problem. Find Money Rehab on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, your home for the Horns.
Great stuff from Joe Cook of his Texas, and make sure you follow him at Joseph Cook 89. In the top of the next hour, we will hear more from Coach Steve Sarkisian as he made the trip to Houston to talk to the Touchdown Club, and we have a lot of audio from there. We'll also continue the conversations about the NBA, and you'll have the world's strongest take. But right now, I want to get into this conversation because it is taken over the internet. It is the story of 100 men versus one gorilla. Mark, you and I, we've had our hands in the dirt before. We went around. Yeah. We've done some things in our lives. But I promise you, there is nothing on this earth that scares me more than having to face a gorilla.
Oh, wow.
And that's just the first man.
That's the first guy.
That is just the first man.
Hey, that first dude. Oh, he's so brave. He gonna the most of the stories are gonna be told about the first guy.
No.
Hey,
if you're viewing from afar, if you're in that line, you are taking off.
Hey, you know what I'm gonna do?
I'm not doing that.
I'm gonna tell you what I would do.
All right, come on.
I would be in the last 25. I would put the 25 guy commando team together, and it's like, hey, y'all on legs, y'all on arms, and I'm gonna just jump and get the rear naked choke, and we're gonna see if we can do this. You gotta have a strategy, Hardge. You gotta have a strategy. But I'm gonna tell you a story. I went to the New York City Zoo when I first moved to Harlem in 2001. And in the zoo, like, they had I think he was 600 pounds.
Yeah.
600 pounds. Mainland gorilla. He was sitting kind of on his ledge, you know, minding his own business, watching everything. He realized that he was the king of that place.
Of course.
And at some point, he got bored with people taking pictures and looking at him. And he reached up with one hand and pulled himself up on a ledge and grabbed the floor and laid on top and got some sun. Now, let me go back and tell you what I just said. He's 600 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
He reached up with one arm and grabbed this ledge and pulled himself up and assisted himself with the other hand. Now, if you have the strength to do a one-arm pull-up
and you weigh 600
with 600 pounds,
yes,
I don't know a lot, but I know strength.
Let me tell you something. All right. Let me tell you something.
I don't want none of that.
They will pull your arm off.
Thank
Just
you.
Grab. I'm talking about like a cooked chicken wing, not like a chicken wing that you have to prepare it. I'm talking about, you know how you go to your favorite wings place and you just pull the wing apart. That's what they're gonna do to you.
So this one dude posted on social media. I tweeted out the
if y'all drive
AI.
and pull over, because this is funny.
I pulled up this AI and I retweeted it of the simulation of what would happen if 100 dudes tried to fight this gorilla. But this one brother said, give me 3 dudes from Baltimore, 30 Samoans, 12 Chicago brothers, 5 dudes from New Orleans, the 2004 Detroit Pistons, Draymond Green, 2008 LeBron, DaBaby, Solange, 1999 Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, 20 either Florida men or Florida women, some Hennessy, and we'll make a silverback fur coat if we could get those people on my team. If we could get them on my team.
So good.
May I have to use the
little boys, wee wee, whatever.
That's so good, man.
I mean, think about that, man. Like, two things.
Okay.
Number one,
You want to take his face? Yes. His face
off. That's right. That's what would happen to you.
Nose, skin coming off.
There's no way on earth, man. Like, I don't want to be signed up to be in
No,
that
I don't
group.
want to be on the team, really. I was just talking stuff. I don't want to be on the team. I don't even want to watch.
Don't draft me. Don't draft me, because there's no way on earth that can.
Somebody did that. They like, oh, they named all these wrestlers and stuff. Oh, I'm put Brock Lesnar on the team, put Mark Henry. No, don't put me on the team. Like, it's a bunch of people could take my place.
Yes, it just does not make any sense. Like, why? Who thought of this? Like,
Somebody
why is
bored.
this? Yeah,
Somebody that don't have a job either.
somebody that was sitting at the zoo
And they were
looking at
high.
that
It was
gorilla.
420.
Oh, you know it was. And they were looking at that gorilla talking about, I think I can take him. I think I can
I
take him.
think I can say famous last words. Famous last words.
It just does not make any sense, man.
Nah, son.
That's right. Nah, son. I ain't gonna be part of that. So 3 Baltimore brothers, 30 Samoans, 12 Chicago brothers, 5 dudes from New Orleans, the 2004 Detroit Pistons, Draymond Green, 2008 LeBron, the baby Solange, because she went at Jay-Z in the elevator. 1997 Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, 20 Florida men or women that are going to go out there and fight him, and some Hennessy.
Hey, that Hennessy gonna be important.
That most definitely need the Incredible Hulk drink. He gonna have to mix that
With
up.
some Hypnotic. They don't even make it no more, but just go find a bottle.
We'll be back for hour number 2 of the Morning Kickoff on a Texas Tuesday edition of the Morning Kickoff right
They
here
gonna
on
kick us off there.
Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Ownwell. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ownwell.com/terms. Estimate based on your neighborhood average and individual results may vary.
When I saw how high my property tax bill was, I was shocked. We couldn't afford this, but I discovered Ownwell. Ownwell reduced my property taxes and saved me over $1,000.
Your property taxes aren't set in stone. They can be protested and they can be reduced. But instead of filing protests yourself and very possibly losing your appeal, Ownwell does it all for you. But hurry. Time is running out to protest. Ownwell has reduced property taxes for hundreds of thousands of Texans and put money back in their pocket, and you can be one of them. And unlike other companies that take half of whatever you save, Ownwell charges just 25%, and that's only if you save.
Now I don't worry about my property taxes. Ownwell reduces it every year.
Sign up now, free. Don't pay unless you save. But hurry. Time is running out to protest. Text WIN to 64,000. Text WIN to 64,000. Text WIN to 64,000.
And Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively. Across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
I wasn't aware of flats. Now, I've been eating chicken wings for a long, long time, but the place that is known for flats. Now, explain what flats are, Seton.
Flats are the ones they have like 2 bones.
Yeah.
Usually they're a little more work, but might taste a little better.
The Bar in Wisconsin has been doing this, the best chicken wings since 1988.
Flats only.
Yes, 6 locations throughout the Northeast region and just a couple of blocks from historic Lambeau. And it's The Bar on Holmgren Way. Please join us for Drafts at the Draft at The Bar. We'll be there doing our show all week long, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Entertainment, live music. They have trivia. They have bingo. They have pickleball, cornhole. They got it all. Private events, party spaces, game day, non-game day events. You can host your special events for your family and friends or corporate events. You can visit us at meetatthebar.com to find the location nearest you. That's meetatthebar.com. Let us be your headquarters for fun.
When it comes to making fantasy picks on your favorite players, you want excitement. But you also want a platform you can trust. Better Picks is available in over 30 states. So if you're hearing this, it's probably available for you.
Better Picks is safe, secure, and super easy to use. Just pick more or less on your favorite player stats and put your skills to the test.
With Better Picks, you get the thrill of playing for up to 2,000 times your cash. So go ahead, make your picks and play for big wins with super fast payouts and withdrawals.
Go to betrpicks.com or download Better in the app or Play Store and use promo code RADIO to get your first deposit matched in bonus funds up to $77. That's betterpicks.com, promo code RADIO.
Must be 21 or older and in a jurisdiction where Better Picks operates. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned with your play? Call the NCPG at 1-800-522-4700.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KVET AM Austin. Your home for the Horde. Make us the #1 preset in your car and on the free new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
The morning kickoff. The morning kickoff.
It's the morning kickoff with Mike Hardball Hardge and the world's strongest man, WWE Hall of Famer, Mark Henry, on your home for the Hordes. 1300 The Zone.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of the morning kickoff right here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. In hour 1, we talked about Coach Sark meeting with the media. We also figured out that Miami went fishing a long time ago as they got destroyed by 55 points last night against the Cleveland Cavaliers.
We should have had the Cleveland Cavaliers go at that gorilla.
We also just finished up talking about 100 men trying to take on one gorilla.
Can we get us 2 more minutes?
And who would win? Absolutely, because my boy Ike, who a longtime listener, he's locked into the show every single day. He said the only way that this could happen is if them people are on bath salts.
Let me go get self-medicated before I go over here and slap this gorilla. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. In real life, what would happen? The first guy would go up there and he would throw his best punch, and that gorilla would eat it like candy. I mean, that's delicious. And then there would be 99 people running over each other trying to get to San Antonio. That's when people would slow down. People wouldn't even slow down until they got to San Antonio.
Exactly. Why are you running? When you see me run, it's time to go.
Hey, if you see me run, I tell you all the time, I don't even exercise because I don't plan on running.
Right.
I plan on fight.
Exactly.
I'm gonna stand and fight. If it's a gorilla, like I'm gonna be blown up. It's gonna be a track meet.
Go.
Gone.
Go. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Okay, I'm done with it.
Okay. Well, we needed that laugh. It's a Tuesday. We wanted to make sure that y'all had a lot of fun. But that has been the trend and that has been the story. And to me, it is still one of the craziest stories ever. 100 men trying to fight one gorilla. There is no way that is humanly possible because that gorilla will tear you apart. Period. You said it. We've talked about it.
Man, you could take 20 prisoners out of Huntsville prison with shanks, and they all gonna get probation.
Exactly. They are not getting parole.
They not no parole.
No parole. That's the only way you could get out is you got to be part of that group that fight the
No,
gorillas.
I'm gonna stay
go
in
ahead
there.
Y'all got 3. I'm still eating 3 meals, right? Okay,
No, I'm
gonna
gonna just stay
right
here, y'all.
I'm good.
Y'all tell me how it was.
Y'all, I don't want no parts of that.
Okay,
All
I'm
right,
done
let's
with
get
it.
into it, man. Let's have this conversation because Coach Sark went to Houston. Nice segue. Coach Sark went to Houston and met with the media and talked
Sound
a
like
lot
a joke.
about this Texas football team and the guys that went in the draft. And the one question was about Quinn Ewers, and was he shocked when he saw what happened to Quinn?
Yeah, I find it. First of all, I feel for Quinn. You know, I think Quinn was a great player for us. I think about a lot of the people who have come into this program over the last 4 years that have impacted the growth and the trajectory of our program, and he's right there near the top, if not at the top, of the impact that he's had not only on the field but off the field. His ability to help recruit other players to come be part of our program. You know, I think he was one of the first guys, you know, through all this talk about collective and all the things that were going on in the world of NIL. He never took money from our collective. You know, all of what he did through NIL was his true name, image, and likeness, right? The intent of the rule. So on that front, I'm very grateful for what he did for our program. I think all of us, included, wish he would have gotten drafted higher. But at the end of the day, if I could have picked a place that I think is a great fit for him, I think Miami's a great fit. You know, systematically, what Coach McDaniel does is, if not exactly the same, very similar to what we do. So there's going to be a level of comfort for him of, you know, style of play. He's got some great weapons on the outside. It's a warm weather place. So in the end, I think it's a good fit for him. Now it's about taking advantage of the opportunity, you know, that presents itself. But I also think it's ironic in that so many things are written and talked about the players from a negative standpoint, that transfer schools or stay in school to take more money, like it's a negative. But all of a sudden, here's a guy that said, I wanted to leave a legacy at Texas and I wanted to go play in the NFL, and now they're knocking him for not taking the money in college. So, you know, I don't know which side of the fence everybody sits on that. But in the end, I think it just speaks to the character of him, of what he believed in and what he stood for. And nobody wanted to win a national championship much or more than Quinn on our team the last couple of years. And I don't think anybody felt it more than he did when we didn't beat Ohio State, you know, obviously with his track record of going to school there. So in the end, it wasn't about going to another school. It was about the next, you know, the next part of the journey in his career and in his life, and that was going to the NFL. So like I said, he's got a good opportunity in front of him. Now it's time to go make the most of it.
Hard, you know, a lot of guys in the NFL, when they get to the NFL, they have trouble acclimating and being able to tell the difference between somebody like a Tariq Hill, a 4.2 guy, and, you know, a guy that runs a 4.4, 4.5. That you get a lot of that in the NFL. The guys are not as fast as they used to be. Quinn comes into a situation where he's used to that. He's used to throwing the ball to Xavier Worthy. He's used to throwing the ball to Golden, guys that run 4.2.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be an acclimation period of him trying to figure out, how do I time this? How do I put the right trajectory on this? Like he's going to already be ready. I think that the worst thing that can happen to Miami is Tua misses a game.
Right.
Tua better stay healthy. That Guardian cap, he need to put one on.
Yeah, he needs to make some.
He
adjustments.
needs to wear a mouthpiece. Everything, a neck roll, everything that you can do to protect yourself, Tua needs to do it, because Quinn needs one opportunity. And we're going to get to see what it looks like at the pro level, what he can do.
Let's put it like this. Skylar Thompson started a playoff game for the Miami Dolphins. Quinn Ewers get an opportunity to play for the Miami Dolphins. It's going to be something. And Sark said it. He's got the right offense to play in that fits what he needs to do. Another person that got a chance to get drafted that showed a lot of development was Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden is the wide receiver now, a first-round pick to the Green Bay Packers, and he spoke on Matthew Golden.
Yeah, I can't it's one of the best draft moments I've ever seen, you know, and I'm you guys all know I'm a football junkie. I love all this stuff. I watch it as much as I can, and I don't remember anything even remotely coming close to that. We've all seen the green room moments and the Roger Goodell moments on the stage, but I think what the NFL has done in moving the cities around and going from city to city. I got a chance to be in Kansas City with Bijan a couple years ago. And just the droves of people that come out in those communities for that moment. And for you to be the guy that gets drafted by that team at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, it's like, for the rest of his life, right? The guy's going to be known for that. So what he meant for us, it was ideally what you hope when you go to the portal, is that you get a player that you project to fit into what you do systematically, culturally, and he did exactly that. He was a blue-collar guy. I thought he got better in our program as time went on, and I thought he was playing his best football for us at the end, which is exactly what you want. Really proud of him and what he stood for. He's obviously been a great ambassador for our program, and the guy's like an infomercial about why guys should come to Texas or transfer to Texas. So we'll take it. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say it was a great moment for Barron Sorrell too. How they decided to bring him to the draft too, like they knew something that Green Bay was going to draft him. So it was a great moment for both those guys.
Well, I'm going to tell you, like, one of the things that stood out to me, and I look at it, I never saw that before either. They haven't done it in the previous drafts. They had a 7-foot high rise, and you walk about 40 meters, and then you walk up this platform and you stand on top of that. Golden was the first one that's drafted to walk down that platform and stand up there and take a picture with the audience.
Right.
And maybe it's because it was Green Bay and
for sure,
and he was feeling it.
For sure.
But they loved on him. They cheered him. And everybody was so happy that the Green Bay Packers drafted a wide receiver in the first round. First time since 2002.
Yeah.
2002 was the last. Who was it? Do you know who it was?
Probably
Javon Walker.
Yeah, from Florida State. Yeah, Florida State.
That's a long time.
Yeah, he played for a while too. He was pretty good. The other part about this is the development. This is why Coach Sark has been able to be recognized as this guy, and that's what Gunnar Helm talked about, the development.
Yeah, I think I was able to, when I got to the University of Texas, I was an 18-year-old kid, and I walked into a very broken culture, very broken team, and I was able to help shift the locker room from a very young age. And, one of the things that I feel I have in my arsenal is to be able to do that from a very young age, no matter what level I'm at. I feel, just connecting with guys on deeper levels and, using the techniques and practices that Coach Sark had for us to build that culture at the University of Texas is going to be something I keep with me, not just through the rest of my football career, but through, my career life after football. But obviously, it translates onto the football field.
Development.
Keep hearing it.
The most players drafted in the last 3 seasons go to the Texas Longhorns. Continuing that trend next year. Coming up next, I got some more questions. Mark, you didn't get a chance to talk to me about this, but not only am I having questions about this, North Carolina is having questions about this. And we'll talk about it right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
As the weather heats up, the action on the diamond gets even hotter. Here's the 0-1. Swung over the ball, hit well, out toward right, and you can say goodnight to it. Tune into Longhorn Baseball all season long. The stretch in the payoff pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. Got him on the slider, and the Longhorns with back-to-back strikeouts. From the road to the dish. This is Longhorn Baseball on 1300 The Zone.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Happy. That's happy. Enter it now.
AM 1300 The Zone.
Don't miss the iHeart Country Festival 2025, returning to the Moody Center Saturday, May 3rd. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
Southbound 35 at Westinghouse Road, there's an accident that has been moved off of the main lanes and over to the shoulder, but traffic is still moving slow through the area. There's a little less than a 10-minute delay from Highway 29. And then on Metric Boulevard at Howard Lane, there's an accident reported that has traffic moving slow from Palmer, about a minute or two delay getting through there. I'm Junior Caruso with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
This is Mark Henry, the world's strongest man. Discover the true taste of Texas at Mom's Food, Smokehouse, and Delicatessen, where everything is handcrafted in-house, from the mustard to the bacon. Proudly featured in the inaugural Michelin Guide of Texas, they source the finest products from local producers. Visit us at 5811 Manor Road, Austin, Texas, or find them at your favorite farmer's market. Pre-order their barbecue today. Don't you keep the best delicatessen in Austin a secret. Tell them Mark Henry sent you.
Earl Campbell here for my good friends at Austin Shoe Hospital. Austin Shoe Hospital has been repairing my favorite boots and shoes for over 30 years. They are the best Western boot repair company in Texas and can repair any boot brand or style. Visit the master cobblers at Austin Shoe Hospital and they will bring all your shoes, boots, and bags back to life. If you can wear it, they can repair it. Oh, yes, and hook 'em horns.
Visit AustinShoeHospital.com.
Yep, it's that time of year when CCA Austin has their fundraiser. The who's who of Austin will be there on May 8th at the Palmer Event Center, checking out the live auction items, the silent auction items, all the games, and having some of the best food in Austin. Will be there as well. There's tables still available. We'll see you at the Palmer Event Center May 8th. Doors opening at 5:30. Check out ccaustin.org for more info.
There are two types of golfers, those that can hit solid golf shots wearing sunglasses and those that wish they could. Shaden Precision Eyewear is all about better vision and better golf. If you're lacking confidence to wear sunglasses while hitting golf shots, go to SeeBetterPlayBetter.com and learn why so many tour players and their caddies have switched to the Shaden brand. Use the code 2020 to get 20% off and a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's SeeBetterPlayBetter.com and the code 2020 to see the golf course like you've never seen it before.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket. Own the dream.
Hey Austin, this is Cameron Parker with big news. 2024 savings are raining customers who switch from Geico, Allstate, and State Farm to Fred Loya Insurance saved an average of $2,300 a year. That's right, customers in Texas saved an average of $2,300 a year when they switch to Fred Loya Insurance. That's almost $200 a month. Wow. Don't wait. Make 2025 a great year by calling Fred Loya Insurance. Call today, 1-800-444-4040. That's 1-800-444-4040. Or visit fredloya.com. If you don't call, you don't save. Individual savings may vary.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free original stations waiting for you to explore right now, like Cross Country. Cross Country is the sound of Americana blending country, rock, and America's greatest songwriters. Bob Dylan and Bonnie Raitt to Chris Stapleton and Zach Bryan. Open the free iHeartRadio app, search Cross Country, and listen now. Free never sounded so good.
Join the voice of the Texas Longhorns, Craig Way, each day from 2 to 5 p.m. for the Craig Way Show on Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone.
You know, I talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I've said it numerous times. I don't care who you are. I really don't care who you are. But when you start to have all of this brought into one section, it creates some zaniness. And I brought up this Bill Belichick interview with CBS yesterday. And the news about his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, has expanded a lot more. And one of the things about the expansion that I've seen numerous times is the movement of what's going on. Now, we've all been in relationships, early in a relationship. Everybody's trying to look out for each other. We're making sure that we're not putting each other in harm's way. Mark, you were a celebrity early, so people want to protect you. But you also have people that can't tell you something. As I stated yesterday, Bill Belichick is a 73-year-old man who used to be the head coach of the world champion New England Patriots. Multiple time champion. He's had conferences. He's had press conferences. He's had meetings. He's gone to speak at other places. I'm not sure that he had someone ever telling him what he can and cannot say. So a guy that comes on this station, Colin Cowherd, yesterday mentioned why he believes that this is okay. And I'm going to tell you why it's not okay.
She's his PR director. She's Bill's influencer, which he didn't need in the NFL, but you actually do in college. I thought this was kind of a cringy thing, but she is multiple things for Bill. Assistant, girlfriend, social media producer, PR handler. She fills a lot of roles. And people are kind of uncomfortable with it. And I mean, sometimes in life, you don't have to wear a headset to call plays. She's calling plays for Bill, which he didn't need in the NFL, but he actually does in college football.
He was talking about you.
I know he was. And I disagree wholeheartedly with that take. And here's why I disagree with it. I don't mind him having those types of people involved. Can't be your girlfriend because she is going to change the narrative of it all. There are people that work at PR firms, we have them here, that know how to work social media, that aren't related or in a relationship with you. What they're trying to do is help you with your image. So here's why. Let me expand on why I think this is a bad situation.
And I'm going to give you another point afterwards.
Okay. So she has been the strategist. She's been PR. So much so that she requested copies to be copied on emails to Belichick regarding the program's communications strategy and referring to herself as the CEO of Belichick Productions and has the email signatures. The conversation the other day with CBS Good Morning, she interrupted the interview after he asked, hey, how'd y'all meet? Mark, when you're out and you're doing interviews, people ask you, how'd you meet her? How'd you meet your wife? People ask me that all the time. Have no problem saying that. Have no problem. It's an innocent conversation that is part of your persona. This is helping you promote.
But
that's why you're doing the interview.
It's a difference with him and her relationship. Because people are prying because they want to know something that's out of the norm. They have ulterior motive for asking that question, especially with her present.
But why would you think that every person that's asking you a question?
I don't think that everyone.
But do you think
I think that in a media environment where there is a radio or a television or print ad person trying to make money off of information that they get from what you say. Now, when you're just, at your local YMCA, you're meeting up with some kids, nobody cares. But if you're on a platform and you ask them, so how did y'all meet? And she was promptly, that has no relevancy in why Bill is here to interview.
He's interviewing because he's promoting a book, which they state in the conversation about their relationship. So my question to you in that particular moment is, he's on social media now, posting, posing, doing all this other stuff that she is promoting about them. Why can't that question be asked? How'd y'all meet? You're 73 years old and she's 24. Originally, they said that they met on a flight going somewhere. She sat by him.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nothing. But why is that? We're not going to talk about that. I don't want to discuss that. It wasn't for you. It was for the 73-year-old grandpapa that's sitting right there.
That's why right there. Look at you.
What do you mean?
You just judged.
What do you
just judged.
How did I judge? Because he's 73?
Because he's 73 grandpapa.
Yeah, I'm a grandpapa. But I ain't 73. And I have no problem answering that question.
You know what I'm talking about.
I have no problem answering that
question.
Sir,
don't deflect the question.
I'm not. The problem here is this is going to be a problem, so much so now that the UNC program, University of North Carolina, where she's walked on to practice in the middle of the practice and told him to change something because he had a microphone on. Now she is running Bill Belichick Productions, since that's where we're going.
They're recording at practice?
Yes.
Why?
Social media for recruits. This is what this is now, Mark. She's trying to help his image because that's what Bill Belichick needs. When he got hired, we thought it was a bad deal. You let Mac Brown, who's been in college football, 73 years old, leave North Carolina because he wasn't trendy enough, I guess. And now all of a sudden you bring in Bill Belichick.
Oh, yeah.
He's real trendy. They're walking around with cut-off sleeves right now on sweatshirts. Yeah, it's a real interesting situation and a different dynamic. And we're talking about...
I think they need to not take themselves so serious and putting themselves above the program. The program is the most important thing.
Thank you. Brought it all the way back. Like I said, this is going to be a problem for North Carolina because she seems like she wants to be in the spotlight and running everything and controlling what Bill Belichick, who during his interview, I normally don't care. I don't care what people think. Oh, really? So why can't you answer the question then? Yeah. This whole thing is going to be interesting, but it will be must-watch TV. It will be part of game days and all kinds of stuff. And Bill, you might need to make sure. You know, she told them, don't put in the media guide that his son, who's on the staff, don't put it as his son. His last name is Belichick. What you mean don't put that in there? Yeah, there's a lot that is going on at North Carolina, and it doesn't seem to be in a positive light, Mark. Why did you whisper? Because I want him to go wrestle that gorilla.
No, have her do it.
She put her at
she
the front.
Seems like she's
Is
tough.
she from Florida?
She might be Florida woman.
When we come back, we'll have the world's strongest man bringing you his world's strongest take. Speaking of Florida, right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
Don't miss the iHeart Country Festival 2025, returning to the Moody Center Saturday, May 3rd. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
Southbound 35 at Westinghouse Road. There's an accident that's been moved over to the shoulder. Traffic is moving slow from Highway 29. There's a 4 to 5 minute delay. And then on the southbound side of 35 near Stasny Lane, there's a disabled vehicle. The driver did make it off the main lanes and over to the shoulder. Traffic is moving slow through the immediate area, but not a major delay there. I'm Junior Caruso with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by True Green. We're back in the miller's yard who now use True Green. Their lawn started looking like a golf course, and PGA Tour golfers made it their favorite stop.
Get a PGA Tour quality lawn for as little as $1 a day at TrueGreen.com. Exclusions apply. See TrueGreen.com for details.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers, plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us, plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
I am dedicated. I am TNT.
Team in Training will change your life with a marathon, half marathon, triathlon, or a cycle event, and you'll change the lives of blood cancer patients. Join TNT, fundraise for blood cancer patients, train with world-class trainers, and be part of the most exciting endurance sports events in the country. Or train on your own schedule with TNT Flex.
Join TNT now. Go to teamintraining.org.
Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
From the ABA Heating and Cooling Weather Center, this is Zone Weather.
Your Austin area weather. Partly cloudy skies for your Tuesday, a high of 90. Tonight's low 73. Wednesday, scattered thunderstorms, a high in the mid-80s.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
News has never been so important.
We've got breaking news from Capitol Hill.
And iHeart makes it so easy to stay in the know with 24/7 news on iHeartRadio.
A major breakthrough in medical research.
Live around the clock, so you're never more than 3 minutes away from the stories that matter most.
Extreme weather is impacting millions.
24/7 news, right at your fingertips with the free iHeart app, where you can now make 24/7 news a preset for even quicker access. 24/7 news on iHeartRadio. Texas softball is heating up. Catch every pitch.
Field back goes Dill. The warning track to the wall is gone.
As the Horns take on the SEC, search Retro Austin on the free iHeartRadio app and listen to Texas softball all season long.
That beat drops so you know what's up. WWE Hall of Famer and the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. It is you, his world's strongest tank. Take it away, big fella.
Hard.
What's up, man?
You know what time it is?
No, what time is
It's time for the world's strongest tank by the world's strongest man. Hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk about the Miami Heat.
What?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about it. And I have an opinion. And I have a take on this whole situation.
Okay.
Now, let's go back in time in the way, way back machine. The Miami Heat have always had Hall of Fame type players. They've always subscribed to role and culture and effort over everything. Pat Riley came from the Los Angeles Lakers, went to Miami, and he's the one that implemented the Heat culture. And the play like the Miami Heat. And there's a lot of guys that have gone to Miami and they just bought into it, loved it. You know, you start at the Alonzo Mournings, you know, guys, Dwayne Wade, of course, you had Chris Bosh, and then they brought in His Royal Highness the King, LeBron James, and won championships. Jimmy Butler came to that team, and Jimmy Butler is a culture guy. He is a basketball player, a well-rounded, multi-purpose, elite defender, guy from Houston, Texas, with the toughness of an NFL linebacker playing basketball. How do you let that guy go? You don't. You're not supposed to. Now, you go into the front office and they elevate their own. Eric Spoelstra used to do film review. He used to edit all of the games, get the information to the coaching staffs. He ended up taking the job as the head coach after years of cutting his teeth in that organization and being a Miami Heat culture guy. I'm starting to think, and this is my take and this is my opinion, they need to blow it up. Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra have let this new world of basketball pass them by. I put them in the same category with Dabo Swinney. Dabo refuses to acclimate to the transfer portal system. He just don't want to do it.
He's changed a little bit.
He's changed a little, but he is not changed enough that it's going to let them win a championship. The Miami Heat has got to change. They would still have Jimmy Butler if they brought in guys to play around him. He is flourishing at Golden State. He was the missing piece, and that's all he wanted. Hey, we need a scorer. We need a point guard that can score. Bam Adebayo. I love Bam. Bam, my teammate. Bam is a power forward. He's not a center. Stop putting him in there. He's 6'10". Yeah, he big bone. But he's not 7'2". There's guys that are pushing him around. Let's bring in some guys that can complement each other so we can have a real, true complementary team. And Miami Heat did not do it. Thus losing Jimmy Buckets, Jimmy Playoffs. He took that team to the finals a couple of years ago with less talent than he has now. But the culture of the guys and the talent of the guys don't match. You can't make a hamburger without a patty. You can't put ham on it. That don't make it a hamburger. My take is that Pat Riley steps down, somebody becomes a general manager. Eric Spoelstra's not going anywhere. He's not he just got a new contract. He's a good coach. But the assortment of players, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, they're glorified role players. They are not franchise builders. What say you?
Well, it's funny that you say that about Bam. And Bam had this to say after the loss, that disappointing 55-point loss that happened yesterday.
What do you think needs to change?
What needs to change? I don't know. It's going to be a lot of changes this summer. Just from my point of view, understanding how, the guy with the silver hair works. So just be prepared for that. And, for me, man, it's understanding I got to figure out how to win a game in the playoffs. You understand how hard it is when you actually get into these trenches. So you take that and you figure it out.
Hardge, figure out what the guy with the silver hair wants.
Silver hair.
He went right to Pat Riley.
Yeah, he did.
What does Pat Riley want?
Yeah.
And if Pat Riley is the conduit to success, then why in the hell would he let Jimmy Butler go? Why?
Yep.
Why sign these second-tier guys as backups, and you have a guy that went to the Olympic Games? Bam Adebayo is one of the top 25 or top 30 players in the NBA. But he is not the guy. There's only about 15 or 20 of those.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Riley has done a horrible job of bringing those guys in the building since LeBron left, since D. Wade retired, since Chris Bosh was forced to retire. And then you have one superstar left, one culture builder left, and you let him go because you don't want to help him win the game because he wants to do it his way, not yours. Talent plays the game hard, not the general manager, not the president.
Yeah, it's a different time, and again, it goes back to the fact of what you invested in. Tyler Hero is not a one. He's not a guy. We already know what Bam is. Bam is a guy that wants to play on the outside. He thinks he is a three-point shooter and a mid-range guy. You don't have any true bucket protectors that you used to have in Miami. You don't have any of those feared guys.
Right.
Things have changed in Miami, and last night was a perfect example of what it was. There's going to be a lot of change coming in Miami, and I'm sorry, JT. I know that's your squad, bro, but you know as well as I do, in the words of Mark Henry that he says at the very beginning of this, it's time for them to make a change.
Blow it up.
There it is. We'll close out the show and send you to Dan Patrick. Big games tonight. And oh, yeah, the number one team in America takes the field at Dish Frog. We'll talk about it right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
The voice of the Horns, Greg Way on 1300 The Zone, weekdays at 2.
Don't miss the iHeart Country Festival 2025, returning to the Moody Center Saturday, May 3rd. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
Southbound 35 at Westinghouse Road. There's an accident that's been moved over to the shoulder. Traffic is moving slow from Highway 29. There's a 4 to 5 minute delay. And then on the southbound side of 35 near Stasny Lane, there's a disabled vehicle. The driver did make it off the main lanes and over to the shoulder. Traffic is moving slow through the immediate area, but not a major delay there. I'm Junior Caruso with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Abacus Plumbing, Air Conditioning, and Electrical.
628.
Need an AC company you can count on? Call Abacus. From tune-ups to repairs and the latest indoor air quality solutions, Abacus can do it all. Now get 0% financing for 60 months on select Linux systems. If you want the best, call Abacus. You can count on us.
Spring is here, and that means time to gear up for graduation gifts and summertime adventures. Whether it's a fresh ride for the grad or a tough truck for your next getaway, Cover Ford and Hutto has what you need. Go see them for great deals like a new 2024 Ford Super Duty Lariat for $10,696 off of MSRP, a new 2024 Ford Mustang EcoBoost Premium for $9,166 off of MSRP, or a new 2024 Ford Expedition Timberline for $9,000 off of MSRP. See dealer for details. CoverFordHutto.com.
Summer's just around the corner. You remember summer? Hot, sticky, and almost unbearable. That's the one. It was brutal. This is Nolan Ryan. Be ready for another Texas scorcher with American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. American Standard Air. Clean, efficient, and dependable. Nothing better for your hill country home. Invest in your family's comfort. Take my word. Why fry? AmericanStandardAir.com. Comfort the way you like it.
Leo Schofield spent decades in prison for a crime Jeremy Scott later confessed to. Season 2 of the hit podcast Bone Valley investigates how Jeremy's violent past unfolded and who else may have suffered his wrath.
This is a case that should never happen. I told you got it wrong, you got the wrong man.
Listen to Bone Valley on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Bone Valley.
Hey, Austin, this is Cameron Parker with big news. 2024 savings are renting customers who switch from Geico, Allstate, and State Farm to Fred Loya Insurance saved an average of $2,300 a year. That's right. Customers in Texas saved an average of $2,300 a year when they switch to Fred Loya Insurance. That's almost $200 a month. Wow. Don't wait. Make 2025 a great year by calling Fred 444-4040 or visit fredloya.com. If you don't call, you don't save. Individual savings may vary.
Running a fleet is expensive. So what happens when you cut the fuel bill by 10% with a Coast Fleet Card?
We're saving money and time, which means we're able to take better care of all of our vehicles and our techs, plus our bottom line. Coast has been a real game changer for us.
With Coast, you get smarter spending, stronger security, and real support when you need it. Set spending limits, track purchases in real time, and stop unauthorized transactions before they happen. Coast works anywhere Visa is accepted, so you're not limited to overpriced or out-of-the-way gas stations.
The customer service is way above the company that we used before. Along with the extra security, it's worth saying again, total game changer for us.
Go to coastpay.com/sports and learn how to save an average of 10% on your fuel bill with Coast. That's coastpay.com/sports to save 10% on fuel with Coast. Coastpay.com/SPORTS.
Coast Card products are issued by Celtic Bank. All card accounts are subject to credit approval. Actual savings may vary. See terms at coastpay.com. The spokesperson and characters in this ad are actor portrayals.
Watching Clorox cleanup spray dissolve tough grime in the shower feels like...
Wait, this really just happened? I'm shocked. Underwear and everything?
It feels like being able to zip up your overpacked suitcase on the first try.
Smooth.
With Clorox, clean feels satisfying. Clean feels good. Use as directed.
The new iHeart app just looks better.
The best feature of a car radio on the app.
It's the presets.
Super easy.
And thank you for keeping it free.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today. iHeartRadio. Wake up with Hardge and Henry in the morning kickoff on 1300 The Zone.
Great show. And if you missed any part of the show, number one, what's wrong with you? Number two, tell your friends, tell five friends about the morning kickoff because we have so much fun. Get over to the podcast page and check out the latest show. Special thanks to Joe Cook of Inside Texas hopping on with us talk all things Texas Longhorns. Also, if you want to win a pair of tickets for October the 25th at the Germania Insurance Amphitheater for Alice Cooper and Judas Priest, now is your time to leave a message by using that red microphone on the iHeartRadio app. Search for AM 1300 The Zone and hold down and leave the word Rob. Rob is a word that you leave today for a chance to win a pair of tickets to go see Alice Cooper and Judas Priest October the 25th at the Germania Amphitheater. Make sure you do that and you get a chance to win. Also, we want to give a special shout out to Covert Huddle. Covert Huddle has done a great job with us, with me and my family. And I got a chance to talk to Chance the other day. They're doing such a great job. And it's all thanks to you folks. And if you want us to endorse your product or get a chance for us to represent you, feel free to do so by reaching out to the iHeartRadio staff. We'll gladly set up a meeting and get an opportunity to work with you.
Yeah, shout out to Mom Foods and Advantage Storage, as well as both of us, Hardge, represent myplace.com.
No doubt, no doubt. Get your plates, man. I mean, you heard Mark. He going to get all the plates.
I'm getting all of them.
If y'all don't hurry up and get it done, it's going to be a problem. Somebody that doesn't have a problem is the University of Texas baseball team. Texas baseball remains the #1 team in the land after sweeping Texas A&M this past weekend. Now they get to play another A&M tonight on 103.1 FM. You can listen to the game at 6:30 versus Prairie View A&M. They get to play PV, so one more A&M back on the field. With Texas getting a chance to play them. We've got NBA matchups. But going back to baseball, Coach Sark talked about delivering the first pitch. Coach Sark threw out the first pitch on Friday night's game, leading into the weekend as they got ready to do the spring fan appreciation. He really was working his way through it. I believe that he did not have practice at this. I believe that Coach Sark, being the athlete that he is, the former baseball player, decided he was going to go out there and pop the mitt. That's what he told Craig Way when Craig Way had him on his show. And here's what Sark said after he threw out the first pitch.
I was a little disappointed. It was more of a two-strike pitch. I had to kind of paint the black a little bit, had a little movement on it. I was throwing maybe a little harder in warm-ups, but I got up there and Jonah was catching for me, and I knew he had a little bit of a hamstring issue, and so I didn't really want to have to make him jump out of his stance. So I just tried to lay it in there and make sure it was a strike. So, but I guess I'll take it. Now the real question. No, I'm just kidding.
So nice of him to look out for Jonah.
Yeah, he was a team player. Coach is a team player, man.
But Hardge, I had the fortune to throw out a pitch several times. Yankees, Brewers, had a ball. Loved it. But I was in the back and I was throwing the heat, just trying to make sure that I was going to be able to not go out there and embarrass myself.
Right.
And I took about 10, maybe 15 warm-up throws. It's like riding a bicycle. You may not be the best you ever was, but you still got to take some warm-ups. You still got to go back there and go through the motion because you have to prepare. Sark is so detailed and so structured in his coaching life, it bleeds over into everything else you do. He's regimented. He practiced hard. Stop it. Stop it. I'm begging you to stop.
I don't believe he practiced. We got to ask him. We'll get him on the show. And I'm going to ask him because I don't think he practiced. I thought he went out there and did what he
Coach,
needed
full
to do.
disclosure.
Hey, he threw.
Did you practice?
I plead the fifth. I plead.
No, he'll let us know. He'll let us know.
He said he warmed up prior to. He did say that. Yeah. He said he warmed up prior to going out there, but he had to paint the black.
The day that he found out that he was throwing, he started throwing.
You believe that?
I believe it in my heart and my spirit.
I believe he was playing catch with the football. Jonah Williams warms up with a football out there. So I believe that coach might have been able to do that. I'll go with that.
And he's got Jonah out there too?
Yeah.
Somebody to throw and play a little catch with. Come on, man.
He was ready to go.
He was ready
to go.
He practiced.
Also tonight, we got more NBA action, and I'm a little bit more excited about tonight than I was last night because the performances were so bad. They kick off at 5 o'clock with the Bucks and the Pacers. Giannis Antetokounmpo reached out to the Miami Heat and asked them if they still had room on the flights to Cancun because of the fact that
he's about to go on vacation.
Dame Lillard tore his Achilles and is out for the rest of the year and probably part of next year as well.
I think he tore his drawers too because it's over.
It is definitely
whole
over.
Experiment in Milwaukee is over. Giannis done.
Yep.
He's out of there.
I think Dame might have to walk away from the game. And the reason why I say that because he dealt with that blood clot. And now you're dealing with this Achilles tear. He's not a young pup anymore. It may be time for Dame to start going back into the studio and keep rapping. Giannis may be looking for a new home. So we'll see. Then you have the Pistons and the Knicks. That's right. Ding, ding. All you're going to hear is boxing matches the whole time.
He ducks the left and the shoulder comes up the block.
And they're back in Madison Square Garden. The Knicks are up 3-1. The Magic and the Celtics, they're back in Boston. Boston is up 3-1. That game is at 7:30. And then the nightcap, the closest series of them all, the Clippers and the Nuggets. The Clippers are playing good basketball. The Nuggets, they're fighting each other nowadays because Joker is averaging a triple-double, but he doesn't have anybody else going with him. I'm taking the Clippers tonight. I'm taking the Pacers. I'm taking the Knicks, and I'm taking the Celtics.
Okay, good for you.
So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow. For Mark Henry, for Marcus, I'm Hardball Hardge, and just remember this, don't believe everything you see, because even salt looks like sugar. Peace.
Hey, if you're listening to me right now, I have one thing every business needs most: attention. Think about it. We swipe and scroll past stuff all day, but when we're driving